You did direct message me. You said you wanted to break some news to the DXB fans here today. Is it good news or bad news? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the TouchGrass Wrestling podcast. I'm your host. My name is Johnny Romano. Now we're live at the TGW base camp, the Airstream, Warehouse 4, just opposite the venue. We're coming off the back of an amazing event, historical event, a sellout event, and I'm here with the breakout star of the night, Eli Hush, brother. How you doing, man?
Very good. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Welcome to the pod. We were discussing then, we've had a lot of chats off air. You were the standout for me.
Thank you.
The main man of the show. Some amazing spots. How was it? Well, first of all, how's your body?
Yeah, it was all right. For me, the spot of that match, or possibly the night, was the tope, with a dive at least over the top rope to the outside. And usually when I do it, it's near entrance side, which is ramp side.
Yeah.
So there's a bit more protection with, you have the stairs, even though it doesn't seem that it would be more protected. But this time it was onto cement, onto concrete.
Yeah.
And so kind of overshot it, landed straight on my ass. Tried to get up instantly, but just couldn't feel it and just went back down.
How was it on you? Was it coccyx or?
Yeah, but just below it, so it wasn't, I don't think, any like bone injury. It was more like muscle.
Right.
That hurt quite a bit, and I think a chair landed on my thigh. So like waking up the next morning, I got like a dead leg for the whole day. Yeah.
But your body's all right.
Body's fine.
Head's fine.
Head's fine.
I know Cryptid took a big hit.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that in the same match? That was in the same match.
I think it was.
Tried to outdo your spot.
I think it was from my dive, to be honest.
It was from your dive, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I think. I don't know how he carried on, but what a trooper.
Yeah, it was a bit of a dinger.
Yeah.
Humdinger. What would you call that? It was like a toupee somersaulté or something?
Yeah, there's different ways. There's different names to call it, but it would be, I think the just general term would be a tope.
How would you like practice that?
There's no practice.
There's no practice at all.
Yeah, you just
read the chairs as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, you just kind of know if you're able to do it. I grew up playing basketball a lot, so there's a bit of hops in me.
Yeah.
But I don't feel comfortable with a suicide dive, as in going through the ropes, because I'm scared of getting my feet or
on the catching them. Yeah.
So I'd rather just go all in, just jump over, and whatever happens, happens.
We've not seen you. Have we seen you? We've not seen you done like that.
No, not to that
We've
side.
seen you go over though.
Yeah.
Over onto, like you say, on the ramp.
Yeah. It's a bit easier on that side, but just seeing all the fans there and only two people catching me, I was like, all right, I just got to go for it.
What goes through your head before you're about to do a spot like that? Do you think about it, or do you just nah?
I think
bam.
Honestly, it just goes blank.
Right.
The second I hit the ropes, I'm just go all in.
You just have to go.
Yeah.
Was it because obviously it was a sellout? The arena was booming.
Yeah, a little bit.
Had to show off a bit.
Yeah, it was just. I just knew that they were there. Shaheen had just done the suicide dive. I was okay. I kind of gotta outdo that.
Yeah.
They have to show the crowd something different. Don't want to go with suicide. Usually never do a suicide. So I was like, okay, let me just go over the top.
I thought it was amazing. You'll see the commentary. Me and Grayson lost our shit. Mate. We were like, because Grayson always talks smack as well. He says about the Mime gimmick and all that. I'm like, shut up, mate.
Yeah.
I said, look. I said to him, you'll hear it. I said, right, you need to acknowledge him now. Acknowledge that he's the guy.
Yeah.
Because you turn it on, you just like turn a screw.
Yeah, that's like kind of the idea, or one of the ideas behind the gimmick is, I come out as a mime, as a clown, basically. Yeah. If you don't know what a mime is, I'm wearing face paint, I look like a clown.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the match, it might be some comedic strategy behind my moves. But then as the match proceeds, okay, he can wrestle. Okay, he can go hard. He can, go off the top rope, go over the top to the outside. Just to have that mood switch of kind of putting people through a journey when they're watching me.
And I think it gives me Orange Cassidy vibes. Was that like an inspiration, that kind of?
So like Orange Cassidy's a big inspiration, because it is that idea of he puts his hands in his pockets and the crowd goes crazy. Yeah. And I've always liked when a wrestler can do that, when a wrestler doesn't have to, do a Canadian Destroyer through two tables off the top rope to get a pop, when he could put his hands in his pockets, get the same pop.
Yeah.
I could talk. Like, I could really just talk and get the same pop.
Yeah.
I'm the big fan of wrestlers who do that. So like my inspiration behind the gimmick completely was Car Noir of Progress.
Yeah. So we've not seen a Mime before. When you do turn that screw, is it a fine balance of when in the match I need to do it? Because once you've turned that switch, there's no going back. You have to commit to it.
It is. So usually in the beginning of the match, it is like, okay, I'm trying to get on my opponent's nerves. I'm trying to be a bit of a clown with them, and they're like, oh, he's not taking this seriously. And then there is just one point where it is a switch, and there is no coming back. And and I just go all out. I might talk like I did on Saturday after the dive. I just
that was the first time we see.
Went to the fans and just screamed and everything. But it is kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde type of thing.
You can go, man. And when you take the glove off, is that Zero Miedo?
It is a little bit.
Penta.
So he's another inspiration. It is like black and white wrestlers are a bit of an inspiration. So Pentagon, Carnivore, Darby Allin being one of them as well. But it is like using what you have in the ring. Like, for example, Johnny Evers takes off his straps.
And then pulls it back up.
Pulls it back on and then takes it back, like Kurt Angle. And if I have gloves, I wouldn't want to keep them on during the match. They don't make a noise anyway. Restrain from making noise from chops or anything like that. So I was like, okay, let me tease it. Let me like slowly take it off like Pentagon. I used to wear suspenders, but they are a bit of
that's a bit much.
It's a bit much. They snap as well, so like it's not good. But
where did the mime theme come from then?
It was really just looking at what hasn't been done in wrestling.
Oh wow, okay.
I'm a big fan of the art of clowns. Right. Of the idea of it's pure entertainment. It's like they come out the second you see a clown. Okay, I know what this is. I know what's going on. They're there to entertain you, and so like there's been clowns. There's been Doink the Clown. Yeah. There's been others, but I was like, okay, what's similar to that? I just hadn't seen a mime. I was like, okay, I'll try it. And I tried it, and my friends were telling me, no, you grew up watching wrestling. You love wrestling. You love guys like Batista, John Cena.
Big personalities.
You can't be a mime. I was like, oh, it just feels right. It's just like, let me just try it once.
I thought it was because you couldn't cut a promo.
No, I could cut a promo.
I originally thought, there's a mime here. Obviously, it looks great, but I thought you just couldn't cut a promo.
That is like what some people think. Sometimes I think, like, can I not cut a promo? Because it's like, I'm not.
You're not meant to, yeah.
Yeah, but if the day comes, I feel I could cut a decent promo.
Yeah. You think you've got it in you?
Yeah.
Well, you're doing all right now.
Yeah.
So I was pumped because I saw you lined up with Ali Reza. Do you listen to the pod?
From time to time.
Right. Did you hear about what my prediction was?
Not the prediction one.
Right. So I spoke and I said, because you done the 2 matches, you had a win, Ali had a win. I said Hell in a Cell or First Blood match for the finale, because it was a bit of that was like your first ever big rivalry, right?
Yeah, it was him first time around. Won via roll up, where he just annihilated me, but last second
small package
managed to get the upper hand on him.
Yeah,
second time around he got the better of me, and then this was third time around.
This was roll up again, wasn't
it? Yeah.
Right. So you've beat Ali Reza. He said no clown shit.
Yeah,
and you beat him. Ali Reza, how'd you rate him in the ring?
He's great.
He's awesome, man. Great. He's got a great look as well. Ortiz vibes.
Yeah, very similar to like Andrade, I would say.
Yeah.
Swagger about him. He's great. He knows what he's doing. He does have an actual wrestling background.
Right, okay.
So like Olympic wrestling.
Really?
So very technical, very good in the ring.
Does he hit hard as well?
Yeah. Not a big fan of the spit. Sometimes he spits.
On Roxy,
on myself.
Yeah, on you, yeah.
I know that it's like, the crowd hates it, and I do too, so he is doing his
Does
job.
he let you know he's going to do it?
No.
Are you joking?
He just goes for it.
Are you joking?
Yeah, sometimes some people wouldn't allow it, but in the heat of the moment, I also can't talk.
Yeah, I can't react.
Yeah.
Must be hard to hold it in, though.
Yeah.
I can't believe look, it's his gimmick now.
Yeah, and I'm someone who allows like a lot of things in wrestling. Yeah. I would do a lot of stuff. I would take a lot of stuff. So like, if that's your gimmick, that's your gimmick. As long as it's it's consented, if you're not just going out there and just I would never, and then you spit on me, it's a different story. But
it's game on.
Yeah.
You had that 5-way match as well.
Yeah.
With do you know what it's called? The rules.
So that's a legacy rules match.
Legacy rules match. Apparently, we have seen it before.
Yeah. So
early days.
It was the main event of the first WrestleFest we ever did, which was last May, I believe.
It's mad how it's only been a year. By the
way. So that had MK, Shaheen, Jay Lamrod, Fayez, and I believe Nova. I might be getting him wrong with someone else, but it's a mix of a battle royal, Royal Rumble, type of vibe where someone comes in and until everyone's in the ring, kind of like War Games, then a pin can start.
Yeah.
It's a great little match.
It's a good little gimmick.
Yeah.
You didn't win that.
No.
But you were put in a big spot again, and obviously you had another big spot going into the medallions match.
Yeah.
What was that the best match you've been part of? Would you say?
I would say best. Like. In terms of,
as in level,
in terms of
this is where I'm meant to be. Like I'm hanging here.
What everyone did, how everyone played their part, the reaction it got. I wouldn't say my favorite But I would say like there's a difference between best and favorite, and that would be my best match.
How would you judge favorite?
Favorite is how I felt and how the crowd, like how different it might be. And my favorite match is either against Fayez or Ramsey in a street fight.
As in full package or fun or like
Just
crowd?
Fun. Just fun. I don't even care. Like sometimes I don't care what the crowd reacts to.
Oh, you're a mime, man.
Yeah. So like in the Fayez match, he was just killing me with chops.
Yeah.
And I'm someone who likes to take a bit of pain.
Yeah.
And I remember people going like, he only does one move. Yeah, but it gets that reaction.
Yeah, it's the one.
Yeah. So Fayez just taking the chops was great. And then with Ramsey, just the street fight of going everywhere, pretending to be him, putting on his trunks.
Right, was that the Halloween special?
Yeah. So I came
the Lego and
came
whatnot.
out as him.
Came
out as him. We did, things with chairs, things with Legos.
How was that landing on the Legos?
I love it. Like,
was that the worst? Was that like the worst though?
No, the worst was probably like the worst I felt in a wrestling ring was probably last Saturday of the flip over the top and landing on cement. Just because it just sucks. It's just pure cement. But like Legos, they hurt. They stick. Like they don't sting as much as you think they do. Where it would hurt on impact. They sting the next hour, and you feel that like your back is on fire. And that sucks. But taking it at first, it doesn't hurt at all. But I would love to do a lot more.
Was it your idea with the Lego?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Was it?
No one would want to take those.
Not colourful. Well, you should have gone for the black and white Lego.
Yeah.
Might have been nice.
I'll do that next time. I'll try and find some like black and white things, or even I would love to do more like deathmatch related things. If it's
okay.
Glass, flaming tables,
so
thumbtacks.
When we spoke to Fires, he said that he had a match and it was with Shaheen, and it was an I Quit match.
I wasn't there for that. I'd seen it, and it was like Fire was involved, Glass was involved. I would love to do that, like in all honesty.
He said Sexism didn't have a clue as well, and he was liable.
Yeah, and he, as the ref as well.
As the ref,
that sucks even more.
As the owner.
Yeah.
Were you in Wrestling ME then? Were you like?
So it was a weird. So I started wrestling in 2016 when I was 15 or 16 years old. And that was with DPW. That was with the
Dubai
coach.
Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, that was with a coach called Caleb Hall, who's from the States, trained with Rip Rogers and OVW. I was there for a couple of months, but then I think just studies got in the way. Did that. I think I had my debut match. It was just a squash match with Sam, I think.
Okay.
And then fell out. And then when I came back to Dubai, I saw Wrestling at Me, and I saw Shaheen and these guys. And I was like, okay, I remember Fires. I remember Nova and all this stuff. And I think I did one show with them. Their last show in Wrestling at Me. Sorry. Last show in Wrestling at Me, which was really good. My dad came, my friends came. Oh. And then the next show was the first ever one for WrestleFest.
And it was here, where I was for?
Yeah.
Wow. So you've seen like the whole process of it.
Yeah.
So what, like, since the start, how can you compare it to like from the start to where it is now, being at Warehouse 4, sold out arena? You're having the likes of Trent Seven on the cards. Yeah. You're getting into these amazing matches. You're doing toupees.
Yeah.
How do you process it?
There's no comparison. Like I tried to talk to the guys about it. Like I've loved wrestling ever since I was a kid, and you can't compare this to any other company. You can't. Like I'm not trying to blow smoke, but like Progress couldn't do this. I'm not saying couldn't, but they just didn't. Right. RevPro didn't do this. AEW didn't do this. Where it's like within a year, a tiny company. Hey, let's get this guy. Let's get Dan Maloney. Let's get Tucker. Let's get Mandrews. And you're just, okay, they're going back to the UK and people in the UK are knowing about it.
Yeah.
And I try to tell these guys that when I was 15, 16, woke up 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning to watch the UK tournament, and now you're standing in front of me. Like, it's surreal. It's completely, like, that's the only word I can say. It's surreal.
It is amazing. Yeah. And the sky is the limit here as well. Obviously, being the location, Dubai as well, everyone wants to be here.
Yeah.
It's a growing community here. And obviously, it's like a family here as well. Everyone's chipping in to get it to where we all think it can go. And I think the level is, sky's the limit, really.
Yeah.
How old are you now, then?
22.
22?
Yeah, quite young.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you've been wrestling for 6 years?
So yeah, on and off for 6 years. I started, I would say, properly just last year, but I technically started when I was 16.
So why wrestling? Like, what? And what? Obviously, when you walked, let's just throw it, Wrestling ME, right?
Yeah.
So you walk in, you got no inkling of being a mime.
Yeah.
That's just like, I'm just going in to learn the basics.
Yeah.
When do you get the cojones to say, I'm putting makeup on, I'm doing this shtick, like what?
It was just the booker at the time just being like, okay, we're gonna book you. what do you have a gimmick? I was like, not really, but I'll think of one. And it took like a couple of days, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna settle on a mime. 'Cause it was honestly
So a couple of days.
Couple of days. It was either that, a mime, or I do like my passion is, aside from wrestling, is cooking. So I was like, I could be a chef,
right?
With the chef's hat and everything. I was like, and I'd seen that before, and thankfully there was this guy who went viral who did the pizza gimmick.
Yeah, the pizza gimmick.
So I was like, okay, good thing I didn't
choose that.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm not bothered to buy professional wrestling tights and trunks and all this. It's gonna cost too much. It's gonna take too long. Let me just go buy a white and black striped shirt and some face paint, and I'll be good.
That's amazing. Yeah. And then it's like a Foot Locker shirt as well.
Really? Yeah. Just like went to H&M. That was it.
I love that. And that's your whole get up. That's your whole gimmick.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
And you're just getting better in the ring.
Yeah.
But the gimmick stays the same.
Gimmick stays the same.
And you're always going to go with that gimmick. That's you now for life.
Yeah.
The name, where did you get the name from?
So my real name is Elliot.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I do kind of want to stay with something with my name. So I was like, okay, Eli I prefer the name. I prefer the name Eli.
It's a pretty sick name.
Yeah. So Eli, and then I was like, okay, I could be known as like El Mime or The Mime or The Clown. I was like, no, this sucks. And so I was looking at, other things I liked, and what is related to a mime is like silence and being quiet and all this stuff. And there was that Batman comic where one of his opponents was called Hush.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a cool name, just Hush.
Yeah.
Just Hush. And he had like wrappings around his face so you couldn't see who he was. I was like, Eli Hush. I was like, I started to say it more. I was like, okay, that'll hit. And I was just stay with that for one show, and then just see how it goes. And then my friends started chanting Eli Hush. I was like, okay, this fits.
Wow. Yeah. Eli Hush.
Yeah, exactly. That's
the
whole thing.
It's a mega name. The whole gimmick. So this is all just turned up in a couple of days.
Yeah.
You got the whole gimmick.
Yeah.
Everything going down.
Yeah.
How long were you training before you got into a match?
I don't want to
all right,
no,
off the record.
Not off the record, but I don't want to encourage other people, but it really was just a couple weeks. Because I had that prior training in me where I was training with DPW for just a couple months and learned the basics there. And honestly, even when I would go to gyms, I would work out in the sense that, okay, how could this help if I ever were to wrestle again?
Right.
If I go swimming, if I go on a trampoline, it's like, I remember Jeff Hardy used to do a swanton, and I was with my friends who didn't watch wrestling. I'm like, oh, watch this, and I'll do moonsaults, but they would say backflip.
Right.
And so for me, it took a couple weeks just to have a debut match with Wrestling at Me. But I don't want to encourage other people and go, oh, Eli, it only took him a couple weeks. It takes a long while.
Yeah, and they're getting the psychology as well.
Yeah.
And obviously getting used to your character.
Yeah.
Is there ever times where you've slipped a bit?
Yeah.
Right.
Where I'm just like, I go backstage after the match. I'm like, oh my God, I wasn't like a mime. I was just what I perceived to be a wrestler. I wasn't Eli Hush. I was just a wrestler. And so I'm trying to incorporate that even in a serious match like Saturday. I think it was Cryptid had Ramsey in a master lock type of hold.
Yep.
I do the full, I'd give him 3 punches, turn around and do the wall mime gimmick. And I was like, okay, I can incorporate that at least. And then when I went to go chop Ramsey, I look at my own hand. I'm like, okay, he was like a wall, just slapped him.
Didn't work.
So even in serious matches or serious moments, I still try to get that reaction of, oh, this guy's at the end of the day, he is a clown, but he can do crazy stuff.
I love the gimmick.
Thank you.
Like I said, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
I love the way you use the psychology in the ring. And then you obviously come out to Bella Ciao.
Yeah.
Which is that just from watching Money Heist?
No, I've never watched it.
Because it fits perfect.
Yeah.
You're joking.
I've never watched. I remember because I was looking, I was asking my friends, okay, what would work for a mime? And what it was for me was, okay, mimes are generally European. You look to think of a French person.
Yeah.
So don't want to go with a French song. Couldn't think of any famous ones. And then I had heard Bella Ciao before, and it was kind of uplifting. Everyone's clapping.
Yeah.
On cue, and I was like, it sticks. People can chant it. I've never watched Money Heist, but when I was looking at my theme, I was like, okay, it is related to Money Heist, but I just never watched it.
I love that, and it gives me vibes as well. What you're obviously, do you remember the Vaudevillains?
Yeah, exactly.
And the dun, and the little entrance like that.
Yeah.
Were you ever thinking of incorporating something like that into your entrance?
I do have a lot of ideas for a specialized entrance. Vaudevillains and what they did is something that would be in that spectrum, but just never got the chance to.
You could take it so far, this gimmick.
Yeah.
The whole circus vibe and stuff like that.
I really want to, it is silly, but I really want to do wrestle an Invisible Man.
Right.
And I was thinking, okay, wouldn't it be cool? Of course the referee would have to be involved, but wouldn't it be cool if he jumped off the balcony?
You mean John Cena?
Yeah, oh yeah, like that'd be even great. Like, what if, like, for me, I was like, okay, if I were to wrestle the Invisible Man, what would he come out to? I was like, he'd come out to John Cena's music.
Of course he would, yeah. You can't see me.
Yeah.
So for going from all that, all the training, all the matches, and obviously developing your whole persona to be selling out arenas now, part of one of the, obviously, the wrestlers that has sold out an arena now.
Yeah.
You've got that on your CV. Sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Right. So let's just talk about yourself now. Were you in that event when you've done that, the toupee? I want to go back to that toupee because it was sensational. I saw a reel where you go into the crowd and you kind of break character for the first time. We've not seen it much. And were they family? Were they friends? Were they
friends? So all best friends that I grew up with, went to school with, and everything. And for some of them, it was their first time seeing me or even wrestling live.
Really?
So for me, I was like, okay, I kind of have to I wouldn't say break the fourth wall, but it's kind of like when you go to a concert and the artist points you out, and it's like you feel that special vibe. And that's what I felt when I was like watching. When I would go to Abu Dhabi and the WWE shows would be there in like 2012. And to this day, I think CM Punk pointed at me. It may have been the guy behind me, but it creates that feeling of, wow, you get to go home. CM Punk pointed at me. That my best friend gets to go back to Manchester and be like, my best friend did a dive, then came up to me and just like screamed in my face, and oh, it was so cool.
Was that just the whole, not planned, not nothing?
No, I was just like, I remember right after I did it, I was like, oh, I just talked. I was like, oh my God.
No, but if you, like I say though, you can break, like Cassidy.
Yeah.
He picks the golden moment to do it. You know, he's like relaxed and then chilled out, and then he hits that trigger, and he goes ape shit. You know, he goes AWOL. Exactly. So I think it was so organic.
Yeah.
And you could tell it wasn't part of a gimmick. You weren't thinking about it. You were just in the moment.
Yeah. I remember thinking about it. And I was like, okay, let me get up and let me like high five my friends, whatever. I was like, no, I just can't. I just like, I'm like, I think they were chanting something. I was like, I just got to go up to them and just go crazy.
Were they proud of you then?
Yeah. Yeah. It is like when I think of wrestling, like why I continue to do it. Cause like I talk to some people that, oh, why do you do it? And it's like, you know, wrestlers or wrestling fans grew up with wrestling. And if I look back at like a 7-year-old me, it's like, if I talk to a 7-year-old me and they go, what are you doing now? And I said wrestling, they would be so proud. Yeah. And it would be the same thing if I talked to my 7-year-old best friend and they said, oh, what are you doing in the future? I said wrestling, they would be so proud. So that's what kind of keeps me going sometimes.
Especially for all the pain as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's talk about you.
Yep.
From Sweden, raised here.
Yep.
How long you been here?
In total, 20 years.
And you got family here or?
Currently just here by myself.
So Sweden, not a hotbed for wrestlers.
Not what I thought. I mean, you don't have internationally known Swedish wrestlers,
right? Aside
from myself.
Yeah.
But like,
you're the main man of Sweden.
Yeah. I would recognize the only ones that pop off the top of my head is the guy. I'm not sure if he is Swedish, but based in Sweden is a guy called STANDOUT, who I saw a couple times. Not a hotbed, but is getting better. There's a couple promotions like I think it's called Freedom. One hopefully I'm doing soon is just called I think just Swedish Wrestling Federation.
Okay.
And then there's that's in the town I'm from, which is Malmö. And then there is a nationwide company called Svensk Wrestling, which means Swedish Wrestling, which I'm hoping to get on to.
Well, Sweden's a football nation.
Yeah.
Fair to say. Malmö.
Yep.
I thought there was a Malmö in Norway as well, isn't there?
There might be. There's like a Malmö in Texas.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, it's like there's a Birmingham in America in that. Yeah. Football, is that big for you as well?
I do love football. I think I got into it around 2012, 2013, but I am like a football fanatic.
Who's your team?
Yeah, Manchester United.
Good man. Yeah, that's what I'm going. That wasn't planned either. That wasn't planned. Zlatan then.
Zlatan. I was super happy when Lindelof signed.
Yeah.
Okay, another Swede.
Larsson's
good.
Probably the three of the best ever Swedish players.
Up there, I think. I remember like Sweden got to the finals of the World Cup in the second ever World Cup.
Yeah.
And I remember the goalkeeper was known as the best goalkeeper.
Was it Olsen?
Probably.
Yeah. Oh no, I think it was Olsen. Yeah,
probably someone called.
Yeah, you've had. It's a hotbed, but like when you you wouldn't grow up in Sweden, obviously. But who would have been your inspirations growing up?
For football,
for wrestling,
honestly, like nobody. Like I can't put my eyes on anyone like any Swedish, and I don't want to like disrespect any Swedish wrestlers, but at the time it was just because Scandinavia wasn't a hotbed for WWE or anything. So you would just have to like watch WWE on the TV and there wouldn't be anyone coming to Scandinavia, any independents or anything. So growing up, it was just WWE or Impact for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't really get much of Impact.
No, I mean,
It was always on a weird channel.
Yeah.
It was on Spike or something.
Yeah. But there wasn't anyone that was like on my radar in terms of a Scandinavian wrestler.
So you just had to look elsewhere.
Look elsewhere. Look into Europe. Look into Spain, Portugal, of course, England, Germany.
Yeah.
So like I remember growing up and just seeing guys like Carnoir or Pac, and then I was like, okay, who's in Germany? I was like, you have Ilya Dragunov and Walter. You know, okay.
Oh, Dragunov and Walter. Yeah.
I remember just like I have periods where this person's my favorite. No, this person's my favorite, and especially before wrestling, I had like periods of now Walter's my favorite, now Dragunov's my favorite, now Kara's my favorite.
All the hard hitters, by the way.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hopefully, I can do the same style. But yeah, love a good hard hitter.
So, who were you watching then, growing? Because you're 22, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to.
So.
No Attitude Era, obviously.
No, yeah.
That's like folklore to you.
Yeah. What got me into wrestling was my two older brothers came home one day. I think I was like 6, 7, and they came home and they had the SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, the video game.
Great game. Brock Lesnar on the cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar on the cover, who surprisingly you would think that like, okay, Rey Mysterio's on the cover too, but because he was just a gold attire, I was like, he's kind of boring.
Yeah.
For some reason on the game, my favorite wrestler was Ultimo Dragon.
Ultimo Dragon, yeah, he looked cool.
He was just like, oh, this guy's a literal dragon.
Yeah.
So they came home with that. They came home with this DVD called Before They Were Superstars and a Rey Mysterio biography or documentary. And that's what got me into wrestling, was like just seeing these superheroes.
Right.
Especially like with the Before They Were Superstars DVD, I got to see like it was like Brock Lesnar in high school, Shawn Michaels in high school, Rob Van Dam in high school, and you're like, these are real people. They're not like superstars or like superheroes. They're just like us.
Yeah, there's normal dudes.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what also inspired me. Like, okay, let me go to the gym. Let me try wrestling. Let me get athletic and all that.
Were you ever thinking, I'm going to be him? Anyone in particular?
I mean...
Because the era you were growing up in, so that was like 2004 that Here Comes the Pain came out.
So for me, like when I would go to my friend's place and we would watch wrestling, whatever, and you'd wrestle each other, and most times people would be like, oh, I'm going to be Undertaker, like when you're wrestling and you do his moves.
Yeah.
For me, it was, and my best friend at the time would always pick Batista. I'm going to be Batista.
Yeah.
For me, it was always probably like Jeff Hardy. I'm not the biggest.
Oh, Jeff's man.
Yeah.
Jeff's cool, man.
I'm not the.
That's my wife's favorite.
Oh, okay.
Jeff Hardy.
I'm not the biggest. Like, he's not up there for me, but at the time it was just like, okay, a smaller guy who does high flying stuff. I was like, I'll be him. I'll pretend to be him. But there isn't anyone who, growing up, I was like, oh, I want to be like that. If anything, probably Edge. I always wanted long hair. And I had short hair growing up,
I did as well. I did.
And it was like, looking back now, it is weird that like I wanted to be someone who just kind of like bangs his girlfriend in the ring.
Yeah, later.
Like, he seems kind of cool.
You shouldn't be watching that at your age, anyway.
Yeah.
They were the crazy days.
Yeah.
Oh, WWE's crazy, man. You've got the long hair now, though.
Yeah.
So if you drop that, where's it go to?
Probably just close to the end of my neck.
Are you growing it out then for the edge look?
I only grow it out for wrestling.
Only for wrestling?
Yeah.
What? But you keep it in a bun?
So last time it was in a braid.
Right.
Just to keep it. But I'll usually put on like conditioner so that it whips like Roman Reigns or Edge.
Okay.
I've done it where it's just dry and it sucks. It gets in your eyes, it gets in your mouth. But I really just have long hair so that I can sell better.
Right, okay, yeah. And you can cover as well.
Yeah.
So, you're a mime. You grabbed the mic.
Yep.
You said thank you at the end of your match. First time I've heard you talk. You did direct message me. You said you wanted to break some news to the DXB fans here today. Is it good news or bad news?
Bad news if you like me, good news if you don't like me.
I'll let you take the floor.
So, due to unforeseen circumstances, or whatever you'd like to say, unfortunately, I have to leave WrestleFest DXB, moving back to Sweden. For me as well, it helps with developing myself at a young age for wrestling, being able to wrestle in Sweden, make a scene there, wrestle in Denmark, which is booming as well, and then go off to Germany, Spain, Portugal, England, and wrestle and train there. I feel that to be the best wrestler you can, or even anything, if it's an artist, if it's whatever, you kind of have to expose yourself to different backgrounds. So I'm very looking forward to that. But yeah, the reason I said thank you and bowed to the crowd and took off my face paint was this was my last match for now, for WrestleFest DXB.
I'm sure the thought process was grueling.
Yeah, it does suck because it's like, as you mentioned, is like grown from. I was here since the beginning of WrestleFest at least, and just seeing it grow, and wishing to be a part of it longer, but you just kind of have to take a step out. At least I do currently.
That's fair enough. I mean, like we said, we were doing the commentary on the night. We saw you at the end. You stayed in the ring. It's like you were giving your flowers.
Yeah, that's how I wanted to present it. So take off the face paint, say thank you to the crowd. Didn't want to cut a full promo or anything like that. Just like a simple thank you. Like people who got it. Some people who didn't, they're like, what's he talking about? But then hopefully next show, or if they listen to this podcast,
they'll be out. This will be out this week.
That's good. But hopefully they go, oh, he did say thank you. Or, oh, he's not on the show. Oh, he's gone.
Very humble of you as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
Because you could have been like, right, thank you so much, and I think just delivering the thank you was perfect. Did you ever think about it? Or?
I did a lot. I was like, I remember like on the floor, I was like, because I just took Ramsey's submission, and I was kind of out cold for a while, and like fingers were tingling, and I was just like almost crying, to be honest. I was on the verge and just like getting up, and I was like, okay, so I say thank you, do I say this? I was like, no, let me just leave it at thank you, and just
enough said.
Yeah.
Were these always your plans? Like, obviously the growth of the company has been rapid. It's obviously none of us knew it was gonna grow this quickly.
Yeah.
When was like this decision to, obviously you said you're doing it for studying.
Yeah.
And also, I know you're doing it for studying, but you're going to go, while you're there, you're going to be maximising what you can do in another country as well. Was there any mindset of, hold on, should we wait another month, maybe a year, and then just see where this goes? Because I might not even need my studies.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a thought of that. But I recently, back in February, went on a kind of excursion to train in wrestling in London with Play Fight, which is Car Noir school.
Yeah.
And after doing that, I just felt that, like, I remember having my debut in the UK at this company called WrestleForce with this guy called Kieran Lacey.
Yeah.
Just great, just awesome. But I remember him coming in, he's 19 and he's huge, amazing wrestler. And he was like, oh, I'm a bit beat up. I just had another match this morning. I'm like, I wish I could do that.
Wow.
And it just, after him saying that and then going to other companies and just like, it is grueling to have multiple matches a week or even a day, but that's what I want. And at this moment with WrestleFest, it is only once a month.
Was that a big...
That was a big decision as well. It's just like a kind of big push for me to make that move of, I want to go back to Europe.
So we spoke to Trent. That interview will be coming out soon. He was discussing, because I said, how do you think about the crop of obviously stars coming through in Dubai compared to others? He said, fantastic. The only issue is the reps.
Yeah. You
got to get the reps in. If you could get better, you got to get the reps in. Whether that's you having to fly over to different countries, go to different companies, all that kind of stuff. So you're thinking long term, you're thinking, I'm going pro here. I need to step out before I can step back in. We'll see you down the line.
Yeah.
But I need to go and get my reps in, get better, go and redefine my character, make a name, and then it'll all reward itself when I come back.
Yeah. It is exactly that. Just like, it was just so fun for me being able to wrestle, or at least like wrestle someone who had been wrestling. It's just like, you don't notice it. Like, he wrestled this guy called Bullet, who's part of Spike Gervais' little entourage.
Yeah. He
got decimated. And he comes to me, he goes, my back really hurts. And I was like, okay, I'll, just, I felt bad for him, but at the same time, it's like, you got to wrestle this morning. I only got to wrestle once a month in Dubai.
Must be hard.
It's like as much as you do train, it's like playing it's like playing any sport. It's like you can train as much as you want, but then when you step out on the field and there's a crowd and there's stakes on the line, that's what matters.
Match day.
Exactly. Not the goals you score in training. No one counts those.
And you're putting your body on the line in training and there's no one there to see it.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll go down the line of going 2 or 3 a month?
I hope they do.
Do you think they've got the capacity to do it?
Like growing up here, it is weird. Like I try to tell people, like if you go see the wrestling, it's kind of like watching a movie. And people do watch the movies 2-3 times a month. So I'm like, why wouldn't you be able to do it with wrestling? You can go watch, wrestling 2-3 times a month. It's a fun outing on a Saturday or whatever. It is possible. I would leave it at that. It's possible. I would hope they do it, and I do see it as being a possibility.
You said you'd wrestled in England. I just wanted to touch on that because we did speak to Fires interview. He said that you travelled down with them.
Yeah.
And you always bring your gear.
Yeah.
Even though there's no spot for you.
Yeah.
What's your mindset there then? Just any opportunity.
So it is kind of like wrestling etiquette. Just bring your gear. You never know what could happen. I went to go support Fires and MK for
Pro Wrestling East, was that?
Pro Wrestling East.
Yeah.
And I remember messaging them before, and I think they said, "Oh, we're fully booked." I was like, "No problem." But I go to watch them, bring my gear, and then Fires comes to me and goes, "Someone's injured." Or I think it was like someone just couldn't show up. So I was like, "No problem."
It can happen, yeah.
Got my gear. And I wrestled Nightshade, who is this unbelievable female wrestler who's wrestled in Japan and France, and she's champion in a lot of different countries. She's great.
What's it like having to... How long do you get, like? What's the notice on that?
It was, I think, within the hour.
Within the hour?
Yeah.
Like, right, you got to do this match.
Yeah.
You're going to be in front of a couple hundred people.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, and it's just like...
You have to say
you're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, whatever.
It's like
Has anyone got any makeup?
Yeah, it really... I remember... I brought my makeup, but there was a guy... I didn't bring any, like, hair conditioner or anything.
Right.
I don't want my hair to be flying. And there was a guy who had it. I'm like, can I please just borrow it for just... And he's like, yeah, of course. But yeah, you just have to be ready. And you kind of... With wrestling, you just kind of have to say, yeah, sure, I can do that, even if you can't. Like Santino Marella told a story where they were like, okay, we're going to go to Italy. You're going to debut there. You have an Italian accent, right? He's like, yeah. And then on the plane, he's looking through books of how to speak Italian.
Is that what it started with?
He had no idea how to speak or sound Italian.
And now everyone gets shocked when they know he's not Italian.
Canadian.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Will you continue to wrestle then? That's confirmed.
Yep, 100%.
And that's going to be around Europe.
Yeah. So starting in Sweden, hopefully a lot in the UK as well. Knowing and seeing the wrestlers that have come to Dubai, being able to see them and potentially wrestle them in the UK is a goal as well.
So we're going to keep an eye out on you.
Yep.
We're going to keep tracking on you. We're going to make sure we cover what we can for you as well. Keep an eye, close eye. We'll get you back on.
Yeah.
Should we say like a year down the line?
Yeah, that'd be great.
And then we'll talk about where DXB are and where you are. Will you be back here then?
Of course.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah. No date confirmed. Unsure of when, but I have a feeling I'll be back.
Sooner rather than later.
Sooner rather than later, yeah.
On behalf of TouchGrass Wrestling, I'd like to say thank you, Eli.
Thank you.
We'll do a little hashtag there as well. I'm sure everyone else would like to as well.
Yeah.
You're one of the pillars
Thank you.
that has started this. This company's growing rapidly, and you'll always be part of it. And obviously, it's a privilege for us to have you on and to share your breaking news as well. So it's an honour for us to do. I appreciate that for you. Where can people find you then?
So only on Instagram. I'm not a big fan of Twitter or any other social medias. Only on Instagram at Eli Hush with 3 H's at the end. So it's ELIHUSHHH. And that's it. That's
until we see you next time then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming out. Hope you see you soon. Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much.
Congrats for everything you're doing, and we wish you all the best for the future. I'm sure it's going to be massive.
Thank you.
And a little someone said that it was going to be massive as well, as we know. Anything final speech for the DXB fans that you've grown up with? And
all I would say is to anyone who supported me, anyone who wrestled me or anything like that, is just thank you for allowing a 7-year-old's dream to come true. Thank you for allowing someone who went through a lot of mental issues when they were 15, 16, thinking about what they want to do in their life, for their dreams to come true. And yeah, thank you for supporting me.
It's been a privilege. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Thank you.